Just the facts, man. Just the facts. Because I'm John Ritland, and these are 20 Royal Rumble facts you may not know. The Royal Rumble match is my favorite gimmick match, period. Favorite stipulation, whatever you want to call it. Anything, it's better than a tournament, and I love me a good tournament. It's better than a gauntlet match. Honestly, I love the Royal Rumble match concept. Battle Royal, but especially Royal Rumble, because it's the anticipation. Who is going to be the person to come out and start this feud with a particular person? How are we going to build a challenger to the champion at Mania? What are we going to do? And especially since 1993, when they established that the winner would go on to face a champion at WrestleMania, it's just very, very cool. Just all that anticipation. Even the worst Rumbles, 1999 and a few others had a few bright spots. And then, of course, there's the king of the Royal Rumble matches, the 1992 Royal Rumble match. You can fight me in the comments if you want, but that's still my favorite and always will be my favorite, though there have been some good ones since. And with this, much like the SummerSlam facts list and the Mania facts list, I looked over the cards, I figured out who entered what, at what number, how many people won from a particular number, whatever it was. I mean, obviously, we know about number 27, stuff like that. I'm not going to mention that right here, as that's the number where people have won the most from. But, title matches and all that stuff. There's just a lot of facts to go into. So, I hope you guys enjoy this list, and let's start off with number 20. The only International Royal Rumble was the first one in 1988, Hamilton, Ontario. A bit weird, because Canada has a very passionate fan base. I'm surprised they haven't had the Rumble back there since. But that's pretty goddamn cool. There's other locations that have had various Rumbles, but Canada only got one of them. And you would think with the ties that WWE has had to Canada and the various Canadian talents that have come through and how rich their fan base is, you'd think they'd go back. Hopefully they do soon. Number 5, Texas is the only state to host the Royal Rumble in 5 different decades. And what years are those exactly? 89, 97, 2007, 2017, and 2020. I'm saying 2020 because most of you are likely watching this shortly after I put this up, but in case you're watching it a year from now and wondering, well, wait a second, it's not, I didn't know what city it was in 2020. Why didn't you say that? Yeah, sorry, I don't have the kind of clairvoyance to see ahead, but that aside, it bounced between Houston and San Antonio. San Antonio in 97 and 2017. Both in the Alamo Dome. Boy, they filled up the Alamo Dome a lot easier. Well, they didn't fill it up in 2017, but it did a lot better attendance-wise than the 97 edition did. They had to offer discount tickets or even comp tickets to fill that up. And boy, they took a bath on that, didn't they? Because 97 was a bit of a struggle for WWE in the beginning. But Texas, with their rich history going back, with the Von Erichs, the Funks, out of Amarillo, you got Joe Blanchard who promoted in San Antonio. The Guerrero, so many people that I could do a whole goddamn video on Texas wrestling if I really wanted to. And maybe I might at some point. I'll probably consult with other people that know more about Texas wrestling, but it's just kind of cool that Texas, big of a state, as many areas, for big venues that they have, that they were able to host, this big event, one of the big 4 pay-per-views, multiple times, and especially in 5 different decades. That's just really goddamn cool. I mean, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, and now in this decade, the 2020s, or whatever the fuck we're calling this decade. California and Pennsylvania, and also Florida hosted multiple ones. Seattle hasn't hosted one yet. Hey, maybe we will next year. Might actually go if we do. So we go number 18. The Rock had the longest drought, that is, between WWE title wins. 14 years. He won in 1999, beating Mankind in that I Quit match. For fuck's sakes, those goddamn chair shots. And then he beat CM Punk in 2013. It was a title match so well received that the crowd didn't care about Cena versus Rock 2, Electric Boogaloo. Once in a lifetime, you fucking lied to us, Vince. You lied to us. Everybody lied to us. But lying aside, it's kind of cool how Rock, got both these title wins. Now, honestly, Punk should have entered that WrestleMania as champion and then lost, and it would have been like 500 days. And that would have been a nice round number, or would have been close. But whatever, I digress. It's just cool to see that Rock did have a championship in a couple decades. And it's kind of weird because I think it was like 2002 he fought Chris Jericho for the Undisputed Championship and didn't win. And then after that, he was pretty much gone from the company. Like 2004, he came back from Mania, but he wasn't at the Rumble. So kind of cool to hear about this stuff. And then we get to number 17. Bob Backlund lasted the longest in any Rumble without winning it. It was 61 minutes and 5 seconds, or 10 seconds, depending on, how you time it. That was 1993 Rumble. And Backlund, that was pretty impressive. I think it was number 2. I think it was Flair and Backlund to start off. And Backlund got eliminated by Yokozuna, and it was near the end. And it was just really kind of cool. I mean, and yes, there's Ray winning it, at 62 minutes and stuff like that, but he won it. Backlund didn't win it. And it's funny how Backlund's time lasted longer than Shawn Michaels winning the 1995 one just a couple years later when it was just 60-second intervals, so that's easy to do. But kind of an interesting thing about Bob Backlund, and was a nice introduction, reintroducing him to the mainstream WWE fans, since he hadn't been seen on WWE programming for a number of years. And he had a pretty interesting second run. I actually liked his heel run. I thought he was pretty good. And he was pretty damn good on promos. I mean, he wasn't fantastic, but at least he got to embrace, feeling like an elitist over people. Maybe I should have chose a different word. Let's move on. Number 16, The Undertaker and Ted DiBiase are the only men to enter one Rumble at number 30 and enter the following Rumble at number 1. Ted DiBiase did that where he entered number 30 at 89 and then entered the 1990 Rumble at number 1. And then Undertaker entered the 2007 one at number 30 and then entered the first one at number 1. And it was kind of cool how Shawn Michaels and Undertaker closed the 2007 Rumble and then opened the 2008 Rumble. But and Ted DiBiase lasted longer than Shawn Michaels as well, from, I think it was like 44, 45 minutes. Greg Valentine also lasted longer, and then he had to go yell at more women to stay out of catering. And yell at black people. Greg Valentine does not represent my state, by the way. And Rick Martel, who lasted 51, 52 minutes in the 91 Rumble. Iron Man, why is Rick Martel not in the Hall of Fame? So, that being said, this was pretty cool, though, about, Undertaker, Ted DiBiase, two well-respected wrestlers. I mean, Undertaker's obviously had a much more legendary career. All due respect to Ted DiBiase, who did great in Mid-South and did great in other places, all Japan, and had a great run in WWE, but it's just kind of interesting how both these guys have that same accolade. Number 15, The Undertaker competed for the WWE Championship 4 times in the 90s, and they were all in even years. So there's a little bit of a double fact right there. 92, because it was technically, it was a Rumble match for a vacant WWE Championship. 94 against Yokozuna in a casket match where about 10,000 people attacked The Undertaker, and it went on forever, and it was terrible. I will not rest in peace. No. And then he got ascended into heaven with a projector, and that was actually due to the fact he had a back injury. 96, he faced off against Bret Hart, and Diesel screwed over The Undertaker, and we had that match. And then he could be in another casket match. What is it with The Undertaker and bad, end results in casket matches as opposed to a good end result? I mean, well, a good end result would have been him winning. Anyway, but yeah, that was where he lost to Shawn Michaels, and then Kane set the casket on fire. Good idea. Good idea. Let's set people on fire. Being a pyro, that's the way to settle a family dispute. But yeah, kind of cool. 4 times and in even years. Undertaker, by the way, he should have been WWE champion a few more times than he was. But now we get on to number 14. Batista won both Rumbles from the same number, 28, 2005 and 2014. His 2005, run was much more well received than the 2014 one. Because boy, once Daniel Bryan wasn't going to be in the Rumble and it was Ray there at number 30, everybody got booed. Fucking Christ. I might have to watch that again just to see how bad that is. Fucking Christ, that was terrible. Batista should have come back as a heel, by the way. I don't know why the fuck he didn't. But it's just very interesting that I think he's the only guy to win from the same number. I mean, because I know other wrestlers have entered in at the same number and stuff like that, throughout some years. But Batista winning, especially 9 years apart. One, he probably shouldn't have won the Rumble. I mean, they probably should have just gone with Roman, but then Roman was competing in a 6-man tag a little bit later. Because going with Roman there might have gone a little better than, going with Batista. And boy, I'm glad that Batista got to retire the way he wanted at last year's WrestleMania, because this comeback did not go well. Shame, too. No, now we get to number 13. Kane was involved in every Royal Rumble event in some capacity for 18 years. 98 and 2016. 98, he did a run-in on Taker. So technically, if you really wanted to get in on this and have him be in a match at every single one, 99 to 2016. Because he did compete in the 99 Rumble. And then from, up until 2016, he did have that match with Cena, where it would lead to the ambulance match the following year at Elimination Chamber. It was actually a shame because had Kane competed in the 2012 Rumble, that would have been the longest stretch of anybody competing in Rumbles, period. And actually, I think he might have already had that anyway, because Shawn Michaels didn't even have that, and Triple H didn't even have that. So Kane's been a pretty damn good Iron Man in Rumbles, even if he hasn't competed in every single one of them. And even if he hasn't done that great in every single one of them. I mean, 2001, who can forget him eliminating 11 people, him holding the record. Because I don't count what Roman Reigns did in 2015. I mean, he may have tied the record, but sorry, Hornswoggle doesn't fucking count. He doesn't count as one person, maybe half a person. I know that sounds mean, but that's why you don't put midgets in the goddamn Rumble. But Kane, that's some longevity in the goddamn company. We get number 12. Triple H had the largest drop between Rumble victories, 2002 and in 2016. Batista was the second in 2005, 2014, like I mentioned, and Orton was third with 2009 to 2017, or 2009 and 2017. And it was weird that Triple H won the championship because 2016 was the first time that the WWE Championship had been on the line in the Rumble match since 1992. So I was excited about that, and it wasn't quite as good as the 92 edition, which I remind you is the best Rumble ever. I will stand by that. Is it the best Rumble card top to bottom? That's arguable. But is it the best Rumble match? Yes. My opinion, of course. Triple H entering the number 30 and then eliminating Roman Reigns. Okay, it was cool. It almost would have been better if, I forget who it was in 2016 that almost had him eliminated. I forget who exactly it was, but it's like somebody, it was really, really big. Some facts were a little fuzzy to me, but it would have been interesting. I think it was Ambrose, actually. I think it might have been Ambrose. And that would have been pretty interesting to see if Ambrose had been able to eliminate Triple H. Well, they had that match at Roadblock. End of the line. Yeah, I had to pull that joke out one more time. They had that match, and that was pretty interesting. But anyway, interesting to see how Triple H, had done that. And it was absolutely to get Roman Reigns over at WrestleMania 32, which it did. Not at all. The crowd hated it. The live audience definitely hated it, which is a shame. And I hope that if Roman wins this Rumble coming up here in a bit, and I'll do predictions with the Durbinator at some point. We'll probably do them after SmackDown Friday. I hope it's more well received. I don't know if it will be, but I hope it is. We get to number 11. 8 Royal Rumble winners have eliminated only 3 people to win. Think about that. Now, I know that, you have the elimination spread out, and it's kind of cool, and you can build some feuds on that and everything, but yeah, 3 people out of a field of 30. So if you take that with the person doing the eliminating and then 3 people, okay, that's 4 people out of 30. All right. And here's who they are. 1988 was Jim Duggan, and then Austin in 2001, but he entered late. 2007 Taker, 2009 Orton. 2009 Orton, by the way, that entered at number 8. And he only eliminated 3 people. And then we get 2012 Sheamus. We get Nakamura at 8 in 2018. Asuka in 2018. And Seth Rollins in 2019. The way to establish it, look, you don't have to have people eliminate like 11. Spread it out a little bit, but have the winner at least eliminate 5. 5 or 6 or something, for fuck's sake. There have been people that haven't lasted long in the Rumble that have eliminated multiple people. And, Big Show. Well, Big Show didn't eliminate multiple people. He eliminated a few, but he, laid everybody out, and it was impactful in, 3 minutes. It just, I don't know. It's just kind of weird how, and, even some Rumble winners. Vince McMahon won the Royal Rumble in 1999 and eliminated one person. He eliminated Stone Cold Steve Austin. Number 10, Randy Orton has the least amount of eliminations among men who have entered multiple Rumbles. 3 in 2009, 1 in 2017. 1. Proof that Randy Orton has done the least amount of work to stay on top and, been racist and shit in women's bags and stuff like that. Oh, you let that stuff go. No. I don't know why anybody would be letting that stuff go. This is what kind of bothers me when it comes to stuff like this. This is a little bit of a soapbox edition right here, so I'll do this when I'm done. Randy Orton is one of the most gifted wrestlers that there has ever been. Athletically, he is a natural at it. He is super gifted. He is super talented. He is great in the ring. As a person, he's a fucking piece of shit, and I don't give a good goddamn if he's had kids. It hasn't changed in one bit. He dropped the N-word on Twitch, but no, let's just blow that off. He was drunk, because being drunk makes you goddamn racist. Except that's not how it works. So maybe don't be a fucking idiot when it comes to that shit. So, I'm back, by the way, in case you wanted to hit mute on that, not hear my soapbox. Randy Orton's piece of shit, so there you go. 4 people among his 2 Rumble victories. And only one in one of them. Good God. We get number 9. 3 straight Rumble events didn't close with the Rumble. 6 overall. 6 overall. Excuse me. The 1988 one didn't even close with the Rumble. That was the Islanders against the Young Stallions in a 2 out of 3 falls match. It was kind of interesting though that that happened. But then you get up to 96. 96 did not close with the Rumble. 97 didn't close with the Rumble. And then 2006 didn't close with the Rumble. And then I believe, what was the other one? 2013 did not close with the Rumble. Look, I'm sorry, but if you're not going to close with the goddamn Royal Rumble match, you got a fucking issue. That's your big match. I don't mind title matches closing, but like really, they need to have the Rumble match close. It's called the Royal Rumble. It's not called the Royal Rumble on the underneath. That's not how this shit works. We then get to number 8. The 88 Rumble was put on free TV to compete with Jim Crockett Promotions' Bunkhouse Stampede pay-per-view that same night. But oh no, Vince McMahon didn't try to, sabotage Jim Crockett Promotions with, Survivor Series 87 against Starrcade 87 on Thanksgiving or this. Except he exactly did that. It was Pat Patterson's idea. I mean, and, bless him. Of course, Pat Patterson would want to, see 20 prospects and everything that he could potentially help get ahead. If you read up about Pat Patterson, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, this was a bit dodgy. Now, Bunkhouse Stampede was really shit. I mean, I don't know if anybody's seen that pay-per-view. That pay-per-view is pretty shit. The 88 Rumble has not aged well at all, but yeah, Vince did put this on there, and I believe it was on USA, if I recall correctly. And it's just weird how people have revisionist history. No, that wasn't that. Competition is one thing, but that was direct sabotage. We then get to number 7. The IC title changed hands twice in the 90s. It was 92 with Piper and 95 with Jarrett. 2001 did have Jericho beating Benoit, but any other ones, you had Shamrock against The Rock, but that didn't work out, and then you had, I believe it was a 3-way at the Rumble, where, the Intercontinental Championship got retained. It was just weird. It was just very, very weird how the Intercontinental title wasn't, the first time it was defended, it changed hands, like one championship I'm going to talk about here in a little bit, at the Rumble that is, but it's just very, very weird that the secondary, the Workhorse Championship had to really fight and claw to get featured more often on these cards. And Piper winning was really, really cool, and then him and Brett had an incredible match at Mania 8, and I might actually do some retro reviews from Manias. I mentioned, as a bit of a cheap plug, if you go to the Real Honest Radio podcast playlist, The Durban Eye, that episode, I believe it's episode 12, listen to it, it's about 20 minutes. I go over the list of the events you can expect. But with this, it's just interesting how both title changes actually happened in weird fashion. Piper pretty much ate the Mountie alive, and then Jarrett had a really good competitive match with Razor Ramon where he got him to get back in the ring with a knee injury and then beat him. So that was pretty damn cool. We then get to number 6. The first WWE title match on any Royal Rumble card had a title change. It was Warrior versus Slaughter in 1991. Because in the first one, Hogan was the champion, and then, he obviously wasn't going to, he was a champion, and he would have that signing with Andre, and then that would lead to the big event on Saturday Night's Main Event. Savage was a champion in 89, and then got eliminated by Hogan, which, of course, would cause the Mega Powers to explode. And then you would also have, you would also have Hogan compete as WWE champion and win the 1990 Rumble. He'd win the 91 Rumble, and then Slaughter beat Warrior in pretty funny fashion, stuff like that. So that's just kind of cool. I believe it was the only WWE title change. Well, actually, nope, there was one more. It was Sid losing to Shawn in 97, because Shawn had to have his win back. Number 5, the women's title wasn't defended for 10 years at the Rumble. '89 was the last one, and then '99 was the next one. They had a huge drop off because it was poor Luna Vachon having a job disabled. They had no women's matches, by the way, between '89 and '99. Like after that women's championship match, they didn't have any women's matches at all. They had Sunny, as a referee in a midgets match. That was about it. So that was like '98, I believe. So it's kind of weird though. The women really had to fight and claw to get featured like on the card at all. I believe Jazz and Victoria were it was Jazz and Trish, and then Victoria would come in later in 2002. Number 4, Sid Vicious has the most eliminations among single Rumble entrants. He never entered another Rumble after this. It was 6 in '92, and he only was in there for about 6 minutes. He had his most famous one, or my favorite one that he did, was eliminating Slaughter and throwing him into the freaking post and, or the turnbuckle, and then Slaughter just flew out. Bravo to Slaughter. He made Sid look like $1 million. But yeah, it's like I can't think of anybody else like that has been in only one Rumble match that had more eliminations. Like there are people that have been in only one Rumble, but nobody's had like 6 eliminations. If they are, correct me in the comments here because I couldn't find it. Number 3, 7 Rumble winners have won, from entering in the single digits. It was Flair at 3, Shawn at 1. We had Austin at 5. We had Vince at 2, and this was Flair in '92, Shawn in '95, Vince in '99, Benoit at number 1 in 2004, Austin in '97, and then we had Ray in 2006 entering at number 2, and then we had Orton in 2009 at number 8. I would actually be okay with somebody winning from this Rumble in either Rumble, the men's or the women's, if you have it done properly and you have them win and tell a convincing story. They're probably going to have it be one of the last few entrants that's going to win this year. Probably Cain Velasquez and Ronda Rousey. So anyway, that's just kind of interesting. And a lot of them have won from the 20s, of course. Like Batista, that I mentioned, who won from 28 twice. Number 2, Bret and Brock are the only 2 Rumble winners who competed in a match earlier on a Rumble card. It was '94 for Bret, and it was 2003 for Brock. Couldn't find any other ones. Lex Luger didn't even compete in an earlier match. He got the shit beat out of him by the Great Kabuki and Tenryu. But yeah, it's weird because Bret competed in a tag title match earlier in that night, and that's when Owen kicked his leg out of his leg. I will never forget that because it's so hilarious, and Owen, God, I miss Owen. And Brock beat Big Show to enter the Royal Rumble. So cool. Then we get to number 1, 4 Royal Rumble winners return from injury to win the Royal Rumble in their comeback match. Shawn in 1996 after the concussion when he had so many Marines beat him up. It was actually 1 to beat the shit out of him, apparently. We had Triple H in 2002 returning from the quad injury. He had taken some bumps since, and maybe he wrestled on house shows. I don't know. I'm going based on the fact that he didn't compete on TV. And then we had Cena in 2008 making this shocking return to win the Rumble. And then we had Edge in 2010. And that was actually kind of goddamn cool how, they use it as a platform. And they haven't used it all that much. It was '96. It was 2002, 2008, 2010. I wonder who they could have return from injury. Well, Ronda Rousey had her finger broken, and they're going to have Ronda win the Women's Royal Rumble, aren't they? Let's just all get ready to, make fun of Ronda as she tries to cut off her hair and wash Sasha's feet with it. Nope, not letting that go. So those are the facts right there. Just the facts, ma'am. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritland. I'll see you soon.